Hey everyone, and is that how I start this?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
They've been doing it the whole time.
hey everyone, welcome to the Talk Nerdy With Me podcast. We are your hosts. I am Brittany,
Adam.
and we're going to be talking about the last two episodes, mostly the last episode, in all honesty, of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So, let's just kind of get into it, because we were going to do an episode for the 5th episode, but then the 6th episode was about to come out, and we just decided to do them together.
We ran out of time, but that's okay.
Yeah, and we realized that by the time it took us to edit the 5th episode, the 6th would have already been out, and the 5th would have therefore been irrelevant. So
yeah, and there was no point in playing catch up if the 6th one already came out, just because at that point that's probably the video you want information on the most.
Right? Yeah,
the whole
exactly.
series.
So here we are. We're doing that. And, you're kind of leading us through this one because...
Sure. Yeah, I think we should really just start with reactions and how we felt about episode 6, but the series overall. And I thought episode 6, first time watching it, I really enjoyed it. I told her after it was done, I felt like it really hit on every storyline they were trying to do, and I think it solved them all really well. I thought the wholesomeness of a lot of the resolutions made me kind of happy, just with how Sam's character was built up. You had a really big speech at the end, and with Isaiah Bradley, how they closed off his character. But what about you?
No, I totally agree. It was tied up really nicely. Every storyline that had been opened up felt in some way completed.
Yeah.
And so I just I can't really complain.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. I really liked the way that the last episode unfolded. I like that it felt like it completed what they'd set out to do. There was even a very cheesy moment where when Falcon appears wearing the whole suit and everything, and they're filming it, the one guy says, "Oh my gosh, that's the Black Falcon," and then the other guy says, "No, that's Captain America."
Yeah.
Because
that's cheesy, but I loved it.
Well, because that was the whole point of this, was to not see him as Black Captain America or Black Falcon.
He's just Captain America.
Yeah, he is that person. Obviously he is a black man as well, which I think was a thing that Isaiah kind of pointed out, but that's not his entire identity. Neither is Captain America, but when he was wearing the suit, it's that.
Yeah, I did want to point out though, because again, the first time it was over with, as soon as it was done, I was like, that was fantastic. I loved every second. 10
Loved
out of
it.
10.
Mm-hmm.
The second time watching it, there are a couple things I might have gotten a little bit overexcited about that weren't actually finished how I would have liked them to be.
I feel the entire Power Broker, and we'll talk, I'm sure, more on it, but that is one of the ones that I feel very unsatisfied with.
Yeah.
I get it, but I'm also unsatisfied.
Yeah. Well, just to list them off, in my opinion, Sharon being the power broker really felt anticlimactic and kind of forced. By the end of it, we figured it was coming. We said this in our last video. We had a feeling it would be her. It didn't really make sense for it to be anybody else unless it was a completely new character.
Right.
But even after we got the reveal, I was just kind of eh. It didn't do anything for me. It didn't make her character, I didn't feel any different about her. I thought she was actually cooler if she wasn't, and she was just living in Madripoor as whatever she was doing, I guess, an art salesperson kind of living the life. But getting that reveal, I didn't really like it. And moving forward, I know it's going to be big later, but I don't know. I wasn't really too impressed by it. And then, should we touch on that? Or should we keep going?
No. I totally agree. I think if we settle on this for just a moment, because to be totally honest, I have never loved her character in the Marvel universe. She's definitely there. She's doing what she's supposed to do, but it was just, I don't know why it always felt like an unnecessary character to me.
Yeah.
And specifically in this, she was a little bit cooler. She had a reason for being, and you could tell that she had a lot of angst and anger towards the government, which was interesting, especially knowing her history as Peggy Carter's protege.
Well, not even protege, literal.
Well,
niece.
yeah, but literal, also protege, because that's that was supposed to be her bringing back into Shield.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. I just have never felt a very strong personality from this character. Yeah. She feels a little in the middle for me, a little too mild to be either the really goody two-shoes that she initially played in Captain America, or this bad girl against the government, power broker. figure. Like, I don't know, she doesn't feel like bad girl enough for that.
Well, that
you
was
know?
the problem, is because from Civil War, when she originally was declared an enemy of the state, until now would
Right.
only have been about 10 years. And even though that is a long time, that's not really enough for you to technically take over a country. So just the context of it, I can't even figure out what could she have possibly been doing that entire time to get named the Power Broker. And we just haven't seen enough of her character to respect that. You know what I mean? Like, I really enjoyed in episode 3, we saw the fight scene where she took out pretty much every mercenary coming to attack Sam and Bucky. But aside from that, and aside from, you know, the couple things she did in Captain America, the Winter Soldier, we haven't seen her do anything that should make her worthy to be so-called the Power Broker. You know what I mean? Like, she just seems like another well-trained character who I guess has connections, but for her to be pretty much in charge of an entire country, or, you know, whatever Madripoor is,
yeah.
it just seems a little bit like too much. I'm just kind of like overwhelmed by that as a label for her, because I haven't seen anything that should really justify that from what I've been given.
No, totally agreed. Obviously, you're gonna feel angry at a government that you put like all your time and effort into that hasn't given you a pardon yet, but I feel like the escalation to Power Broker is almost unrealistic.
Yeah, that's
like,
what
obviously
I mean. Just the timeline just doesn't really feel like it fits.
Yeah, like she would have, I guess, like some connections with like the outside world, being in the position that she was in, like basically a spy. But to become this like literal leader government figure that like is all-knowing and all-powerful and everyone's fearful of them, that just seems entirely not possible.
Yeah.
Especially with like the kind of person she is. I don't know, I just feel like it was really frustrating. And then, like I told you, I think that we should touch on this now, like the way that the end credit scene went down.
Yeah.
That to me is entirely annoying.
Yeah.
Like very, very annoying, but mostly because I don't care. Like, do your thing, girl. I guess, like, get your revenge. But what I think is really, really going to be annoying is that I feel like they're going to somehow pin this on Sam. Yeah, because like Sam's the one that was like, you need to get her pardoned, obviously, and then these people did it, and they were like, we love the Carter family. We can't believe you were ever not pardoned. But like in the end, if this all goes down and this is all really, really bad,
and it pins on Sam,
they're going to pin it on him because they love having a scapegoat, and like that's just going to be so wrong. Like, how could she do that to him?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that, and it's frustrating because I feel like the reason she didn't get a pardon was literally because she got forgotten about, and that's like
She's
that's
a forgettable
really that's
character.
really like shitty to say, because it's like obviously you've done a lot, you're a part of Shield, CIA, whatever, but it just, with the context, there really is not a reason that Bucky should have been given a pardon instead of her. You know what I mean? So I really do think, unfortunately, they just forgot about her.
Yeah.
But again, like you said, with her getting a pardon now, being the power broker, like that's going to come out later.
Yeah.
It really is a shitty situation because we don't want any of this to fall back onto Sam, but it's going to have to, because he pulled the strings to get that pardon done. Again, even if it was something that should have happened, he was the one that said, hey, can we push this through? But aside from that, even though I hated that scene because she's obviously going back into, not SHIELD, but the CIA.
Wait, before you touch on that, because I feel like I think I know what you're about to mention. What I feel like with Bucky specifically, like, not only is she, like, definitely more forgettable than Bucky, but at the end of the day, Bucky was literally fighting against Thanos to save the world. Of course he's gonna get a pardon. Where was she?
It's a weird thing to have, like, a track record of that, though. Like, do you think they just went through and went through, like, the video footage and, like, asked who was all there? You know what I mean?
I think they know. Like, they would have honored the people that were there. You know what I mean? Like,
I just don't know how they would have known who, like, every character in Wakanda they knew was there.
I mean, I think it's more of, like, in theory, like, as a
intelligence agency.
Well, not even as an intelligence agency. I just mean in general, you just know, like, you as a country, you would probably honor the people that saved the entire universe.
Yeah.
Like, in one way or another, whether like all of Wakanda is there or not, like, you'd say Wakanda, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you are like, wait, where the heck is Sharon Carter? Like, no, she wasn't there. She didn't even try to be there.
Yeah.
So, like, what did she do to deserve a pardon while Bucky was literally
Well,
there?
it just goes back to the unraveling from, you know, Civil War and the Winter Soldier, where it was like, obviously what she was doing was for the betterment of everyone. You know, what at the time, you know, Captain America, Sam, and Bucky were all technically labeled fugitives because they thought Bucky was the one who blew up the UN. So, like, it was just a miscommunication through those entire series of events that got them labeled as fugitives.
But granted, but what I'm trying to say is, like, at the end of the day, he didn't get pardoned.
You don't think they said are bad? They said, since you saved the world.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, like,
I was thinking the whole time they just realized they were completely wrong, and they were just
well, because she phrased it that way.
Yeah.
Like, she phrased it that way. Like, when they were all, like, hanging out, she literally looks at Bucky and she goes, how would you get a pardon for being a mass murderer? First of all, obviously, he wasn't doing it on his own will and testament. But, like, second, he literally helped save the universe. And then she was such a forgettable character that no
That's
one
true.
called her to help.
Yeah, I didn't really think about it like that.
Like, I mean, she didn't do anything to deserve a pardon.
Yeah.
Like, she still did wrong.
That's
She
fair.
still stole from the government, you know?
Yeah. Aside from that, though, as much as I hated that scene because now we just have a clear person who's going to be acting good but playing a villain, I am thinking that this was only done to set up Armor Wars.
For sure, yeah. Once you explain that to me, it makes sense.
And Armor Wars is something that was announced with the new line of Disney Plus series coming out. And at first, we're all just like, what the hell are we going to be talking about in Armor Wars if there's no Tony Stark?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, what iron suits are there? And now, the way we think about it, we're like, the first thing she said is that she calls, whoever... I guess she sells to the black market, and she's like, we're going to have secrets, prototypes, weapons, all kinds of stuff coming out. And what you're thinking is that it's going to be an arms race between the government and then black market dealers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And what I'm thinking, whether it be, actual weapons or not, technically Rhodey was War Machine, I guess is his superhero name. James Rhodes is still part of the government, and his suit is something that potentially they could get the schematics to. I don't think Justin Hammer from Iron Man 2 would make a comeback, but he's some dude I'm sure would love more details on that suit or information on how to make more suits. So I think it was interesting because otherwise I had no clue what else that series would be about. And it's cool to, I guess, pinpoint someone who will be a part of it. But, aside from that, again, I really hated the reveal.
Well,
I didn't like
to that point,
her coming into power. But,
like, even think about it, like Falcon's wings, that was government property. That was government schematics.
Yeah.
How many Falcons are going to be able to run around if she's able to sell that kind of, like...
tech.
Not even tech, but just, like, the plans for them, you know what I mean?
It was always funny that the Falcon wings were not more used. Like, especially the funny thing about...
I think they mention it in the Captain America where he gets introduced.
It was just shut down or something like that?
Yeah, like, I think, like, maybe it was too dangerous.
It just feels like a very, like, doable thing with all the technology in this world.
I just thought that, like, I thought that the reasoning behind it was literally just, like, because the specially trained pilots that were made for it, like, I thought that he was the last one.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense? Like, I thought that maybe they all died. I don't know. Like, I'm really not sure, but, like, that was kind of, like, the impression I got from it.
Yeah.
Was that it was shut down and he's the last remaining one.
Yeah.
But, I mean... I guess anyone can ultimately figure it out. It's just whether government wants to train him or not.
Yeah, but to close this one off, the only good that came out of it, in my opinion, is she's either going to be a big part of Armor Wars or Secret Invasion. Maybe she's a Skrull or something like that. Yeah, I doubt it, but
she just gotta, cool. I don't know, like I said, she kind of bores me, which is just mean to say, but like she does.
Yeah. Moving on from that, though, I think the next thing was John Walker, and I hate to say it, I like John Walker this episode.
He had a redemption arc.
And I'm kind of mad because it was just too quick. Like, through this entire episode, the second he was on screen, I'm like, oh, here we go. John Walker about to fuck something up again. I cursed.
Yeah, it's fine.
Curse.
Yeah.
John Walker about to screw something up again. And immediately you see him, like, I guess trying to fight her, obviously. Like, I don't blame that part. But doing good and being what he was supposed to be as a Captain America.
Well, but you can also see him, like, in that moment, like, losing it. Like, you can see him, like, shaking his head, like, trying to, like, almost, like, shake
that looked like a PTSD kind of thing.
Well, not even like PTSD, but like shaking the voices out of it, shaking like the anger. Because like, when you see red, like you just want to like shake it out almost. And like that's kind of what it seemed like to me, like very Hulk.
Yeah.
Like whenever like the Hulk is just like shaking his
like
head,
a
very
roid
confused.
Rage. It's a serum rage.
Very roid rage, yeah. And like it gets that way really quickly. And we like when he first came up, we're like, I feel like this might be a redemption arc because that's when like the whole car's on fire and we're like, he's gonna do the right thing, and then he starts doing the wrong thing and we're like, well,
no, I don't think
no, but like he ignored the bus on fire, remember? And then like went to go like kill people, and we're like, oh, maybe it's not. But then the people started beating up on him, kicking him down, and you just start to feel sorry for him. Like it was very much, it reminded me of in the first Captain America when Steve is getting beat up by like, there's two people that beat him up in the alley, and like they're kicking him the same exact way, and I was like, I don't know, it's just it was a interesting scene to like compare, and I think that I really like what they did with his character. I think that he was never meant to be bad, he was just what the government had made him to be. And by giving him a redemption arc away from the government, they kind of clarified that even more. They're like, look, he could be good in the right hands.
But that's what I just feel like we were missing something. And one thing I probably should have started with, I really do think there should have been one more episode, even just like a 20-minute epilogue to just round things out a little bit better, because this felt rushed, and it just felt like I was missing something, because even his interactions with Sam and Bucky, they look like they're homies. After they catch the Flag Smashers, he pats them on the back, he's saying quotes and stuff.
Well, I mean, okay, so to go to episode 5, which we haven't really talked much about so far, Bucky and Sam never wanted to hurt him.
But he almost killed them.
No, I know, but like...
And they broke his arm.
But they're also very... Yeah, they had to get the shield away for, like, their own reasons.
Right. But do you think he'd be going patting each other on the back?
No, but they weren't. It was very much like how Sam and Bucky, like, talked to each other when Captain America first introduced them. Like, they kind of, like, didn't like each other, but they were also joking, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's the scene where, what's his face? John Walker says the quote.
Yeah, the Lincoln quote.
The Lincoln quote, and then Bucky's like, really? And he goes, it's a great quote.
No, that's what I mean. It's just, I don't know. It was weird because based off the last episode, you almost felt like he was their villain. Like, this was going to go away from the Flag Smashers being the villain, and it was just going to be them having to fight John Walker again. And I felt the redemption coming, but it just felt rushed. And I'm okay with it, because he was always, in my eyes, a character who's trying to do good, and it just put with, into shoes he cannot fill, with expectations that are too high, and that's what gave us the results of the last couple episodes.
Well, he also, like, definitely was a little bit narcissistic in believing he could fill those shoes.
But that you're not going to go in and be skeptical about. You can't be. You know what I mean? That's the thing. I never really blamed him for trying to do a good job. It was just...
I mean, I definitely did.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like,
it's recorded.
No, but what I'm trying to say is, like, it's in that episode where he's, like, having his speech, his moment with, like, the U.S. government. They're not going to keep him as Captain America. He's kind of losing it, like, in general. Like, you can see him losing his faculties. But he is like, I was everything you wanted me to be. I did everything that you always told me to be. I followed every single one of your rules. What do you mean? Like, I didn't do something right. Like, they were your rules.
Right.
And, like, that breakdown, I think it was just, like, a really big moment, like, for, like, a turning point. Not even just, like, for him. Like, yeah, he's angry. He's trying to, like, get his revenge. But I think he also realized he had to start thinking for himself and being his own person. And at first it wasn't going to go that well, because he still was really dead set on revenge. And it was only when he just, like, remembered and decided that's not what this is about. Like, that's not what having super strength is about, that he was able to kind of, like, turn and go back to his roots.
Yeah.
Because he wanted originally, as what he said, to help people. And you can't really help people when all you're doing is trying to get revenge. But yeah, that's why I think that, like, this redemption arc made sense to me. Yeah, one episode more, like, maybe in between but I mean, even then, I don't think that would have helped. After maybe having more of an epilogue, that would have helped. But I'm not surprised that they had that, like, kind of, not camaraderie, but, like, they didn't hate each other. Because they never wanted to hate him. Yeah. They knew that his head was in the right. They never wanted to hate him.
Bucky wanted to hate him.
Okay. Bucky's a man of my soul, honestly. But I think that when they teamed up together, they were both soldiers.
Yeah.
They were both soldiers for the government that ended up kind of leaving them for dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that Bucky was already on this whole road to forgiveness.
Right.
So that was also maybe part of his journey of just, like, accepting it.
Like I said, the biggest thing, I feel like it was rushed just because episode 5, we have him literally trying to decapitate Sam with the shield in that fight scene, foaming at the mouth saying, I'm Captain America.
I mean, he had that moment in
I know he
episode
did.
6
but,
too.
Well, yeah, but to go to episode 6, and just, the craziest thing is just, even at the very end, where he's with Val and his wife, and they name him U.S. Agent, which I told you they would, it was just, straight from the comics. That was just, it was so wholesome. When he has his outfit, he's like, he got a new name, he's excited. He's like, what was he saying? I'm back. Yeah. That was so wholesome. And I'm just like, how is this guy, like,
well, I think he
bad? You know what I mean?
No, but, like, that's what I'm saying. Because they said from the start that the serum intensifies everything that's already there. He was already always towing that line. Yeah. Like, he was always between that line of just, like, being kind of giddy about being Captain America and doing the wrong things with that title. You know, like, and his friend got killed. It's not an excuse to do what he did, but I think that he was finally able to kind of shake it off, like, shake off the rage, because like, it was probably all encompassing. It was probably all he could do, and, like, if he hadn't changed at that moment, he would have been a villain. Yeah,
it really did bother me, though, the whole scene, obviously when he was on trial, how they did say, like, you pretty much have nothing. Like, they took away all his benefits, all his awards and everything. It's like, I could see a repercussion from it. The problem was, it was in foreign territory, so it was more of like a United Nations kind of matter that they had to act on it, but it was just really disappointing disappointing in my opinion to see him lose pretty much everything. So I really hope him being the U.S. agent gives him something.
I mean, she definitely seems like she's got money and she's gonna pay him good. She said it in episode 5.
Oh, like,
she said that they were going to pay him good.
Yeah.
But the thing that, I mean, it makes sense that they took away, like, everything. Because what does the government do when they've done something wrong? They find a scapegoat, and then they are like, we're going to be the harshest ever to that one scapegoat to show everyone that we're on their side and we totally get that we did something wrong. And it's like, no, you're just punishing the one person that probably doesn't need all the blame.
But that was all I really have on John Walker. I want to talk about Val, but I'll probably do that later just because I want to talk about Carly next.
No, we'll talk about her, I think, at the end.
Yeah. But the next thing's Carly, and at first, I didn't mind the way they closed it off because I thought it was... the first time I watched this, I really thought they just hit every point. Everything was involved. Like, there wasn't anything that was forgotten about. Like, in WandaVision, we felt like there were storylines that were just kind of left off.
I mean, they definitely felt like they were going to be continued in a movie.
Yeah, in this one, they had everything there. It was just some things were paid more attention to than others. And I think with Carly, even though she was pretty much, she had probably the most screen time of anyone, you just felt kind of like, I was unsatisfied by not only her death, but just her going through the episode. It seemed like she really just wanted to be a martyr from the second she was on screen. She kept saying, I don't care if I die, like the message is going to live on.
I don't think that was, I don't know, no. I didn't see that at all. I mean, like, obviously she was okay with being a martyr, but I think that she was not trying to be a martyr. She just believed a lot in the cause, and so like she understood that the risk was death. And I think that like you definitely see her unraveling like during the episode. Like it's
and you even see some of the flag smashers like questioning if they want to align with her still.
Yeah, and I think it's actually even more powerful, like I told you, that they still stuck on her side. They were still on her side, even though they knew she was losing it, even though they knew she was taking it way too far. They were still on her side.
Yeah.
Like, I think that sent a bigger message to like what they were fighting for, and gave Sam's speech in the end to the governments like a lot more leverage.
That's true.
But again, like with her character, I can definitely see like the unsatisfied, but they mention she was 16 years old. Yeah,
she was. And at the same time, Sam didn't want to fight her. Like what should have been the fight scene of the whole series ended up being Sam playing defense, saying, you can shoot me because I know you won't, because he had faith in her.
No, but I mean, like, he understood, too, that if she shot him, that would have been her turning point.
Right.
Like, I think that, like, it was a very even kind of playing field between the two of them, and obviously Sharon ruins everything because she doesn't want anyone to find out she's the power broker. I think that she would have gotten to that point of being like, I shouldn't kill him. But if she did, I don't know. Like, it was just a weird line.
Yeah.
But
that's what sucked, because I really did like her as an antagonist, and I thought, again,
I don't think she had any room in the rest of the Marvel universe.
She didn't. No, she was for sure gonna die in some way.
Yeah.
It just, I felt the way she left this series left it a bit anticlimactic, in my opinion.
Yeah. But like I said, like, I mean, I kind of forgot the entire time she was literally supposed to be like 16 years old.
She did pretty well for herself.
Oh no, she did. But like, obviously, like as more of her friends start dying, as more of the people she loved started dying,
the pressure comes on.
Yeah, and as more, like, as her plan felt like it was falling apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, she starts to kind of like get overwhelmed. John Walker was a fully grown man that got overwhelmed by the serum within the hour.
Yeah.
She held it on for a while, you know what I mean? So, I don't know.
It was just kind of interesting because I couldn't really figure out what their actual plan was, because I know they just wanted to kill the people. I don't know if it was a hostage. Well, no, they didn't.
They wanted to they wanted them as hostages to be able to use them as like leverage to not get that thing passed. To be like, we will kill them if you pass that law.
Right.
But they didn't want to do that until like everything kind of fell apart.
I think that was probably for the better, though, because the way it unraveled, you're kind of like, what are they trying to do here? And then you're like, that's just how it unraveled. Like, literally, they had a plan, and it just could not fall through because, Bucky, Sam, John Walker, everyone keeps getting in the way and kind of ruining it for them. So I think that's kind of what... You
know what I'm thinking? Like, I think a lot of, like, the complaints in general about like how the series feels, it's kind of strange, because I think that what it is that they stuck very true to how people in their situations would act.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they stuck really, really like solidly to their characters' motivations and like their psyche and like the actual human experience versus giving us like a very satisfying show to watch.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that's exactly what they did, but I feel like that's why a lot of people were having like, oh, this wasn't as like fun as I wanted it to be, or like this wasn't as like satisfying. And it's like, Yeah, I guess not, but like, was it pretty freaking honest about what would happen? Yeah, I guess it was.
Because that was the one thing, like I said, I'm satisfied. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I feel like me and a lot of the people, if you ask, like what the only complaint was, it still felt like it could have used that extra episode.
Sure.
I think that had to do with COVID. And the same reason WandaVision was cut short is that because of COVID, filming had to stop. They did have to reshoot a couple of things. I wonder if that made them have to redo any storylines or like cut things short. Because like again, in WandaVision, the bunny was supposed to be Nicholas Scratch. You know what I mean? Like he was supposed to be a demon. That's a pretty big thing we would have gotten, is a demon fighting what's her name?
I mean, I'm sure that maybe we would have gotten maybe a lot more explanations, especially like on John Walker, on like on her motivations, on even the power broker. Like there was probably a lot they could have expanded on. Yeah. And we were joking after it ended that we were like, how fun would it be if there was like a funny like sitcom with Bucky?
Oh yeah, 100%. No, because as soon as it was over, right at the end, we see the scene where Bucky's like the fun uncle now. He's with doing a little barbecue with Sam's family. And just thinking of WandaVision and how like different that series was based off all those sitcoms, I was like, what if we had a movie or a series with Sam and Bucky just doing like a comedy style with the family, like nothing superhero related, no and, like, fighting even, like, or powers.
The flirting with the sister that Sam's like, hey, no.
Oh, it would be so funny.
It would have been awesome. Like I think that in general, like I would love to see more of all of these characters.
Well, it's because like aside from the action, which we loved, their personalities are just so good. Like the dialogue,
they really
like some of the funniest dialogue was just them talking when they were fixing up the boat.
Oh my god!
What I mean? Like on the pier. Those are some of the funniest like lines of the entire show.
Yeah, no, that whole pier scene is like that's definitely what like inspired, I think, the original idea that it would be great to have like a romantic comedy or something with all of them together.
Go rom-com.
Just like it would have been so much fun. They should do it.
It was our idea.
Yeah, I mean, if you hit us up, maybe we can help.
But yeah, no, I'm done talking about the things I wasn't 10 out of 10 with, but
I think it's fair to like not. It wasn't a perfect series.
Yeah,
like
I really enjoyed it though. I think I liked it better than WandaVision. I think I did.
I like them in very different ways.
They're very different shows.
Yeah,
but
I like him in very different ways. Like I can't even compare. Like you can't compete where you can't compare. But it was amazing. Yeah. Like way better than I thought it would be. And I think that 6 episodes was like too short. Like,
and doesn't that sound demanding? Because I'm like, they were almost an hour apiece. This was almost like a 6-hour movie. Well, like a 4, 5, or 6 hour movie.
Yeah, but also like you have to think normal TV shows are normally 45 minutes long.
That's true.
And there's like 20 of them in a season.
But a lot of them don't have this kind of budget.
No, obviously.
So,
but I mean, like even if you think Game of Thrones.
Yeah, but Game of Thrones had a crazy high budget.
And they actually had 6 episodes in their last season. And it was the worst.
Anytime we talk about a show being rushed and like having an ending you're not fond of, you can just compare it to Game of Thrones, and that makes any movie or show.
At least there wasn't like a random. Well, I guess there probably was a water bottle, but it was meant to be there.
Yeah, that was bad. I thought it was a start. No, you're right.
No, there was a water bottle and a Starbucks cup and a pickup truck.
So, but yeah, with those 3 complaints, I feel like Sharon being the power broker kind of ruined that was the biggest complaint, but that was also, I feel like, what kind of ruined the Flag Smashers a little bit more, because her having to step in that scene just kind of made it whatever. But
I mean, her shooting Carly, like, it was just frustrating. Like, it was a frustrating moment. Like, you even were like, why doesn't she say that, like, Sharon's the power broker? And I was like, I don't think she has enough air.
I was just hoping she would just say, she's the power broker. She was
but I don't think that's, like, what she, like, I think it's actually way more meaningful that what was more important in her head was realizing that she was sorry.
But why did it take getting shot for her to realize she was sorry?
I mean, a lot of people realize things when they're on death's bed. Like, a lot of people.
So it was just like, she knew she was sorry the whole time.
Yeah.
But now that she's gotten the chance and she's gonna, okay.
Yeah, like, she knew. Like, she wasn't a bad person.
Yeah, no,
like,
I agree
she
with
really
that.
wasn't. She went really far, but for something she believed in. And then, like, I think when she was about to die, she kind of realized, at the very least, I don't know if she was sorry about everything, but I think she was at least sorry that she was going to kill Sam.
Yeah.
Like, and she wanted him to know that, because I think she in the end kind of respected him.
Oh yeah, no, she respected him the whole time, but it was now she finally was just.
I mean, she messed with him a lot. Like, she called in the last episode, like, where she called his sister and like all that kind of stuff. She egged him on a ton.
Yeah.
And in kind of like dark ways, but she also was like, no, I would never hurt her. But like also rings his sister up and is like, I can see you.
But yeah, she was a good character. Aside
She
from
was
that,
a good antagonist.
yeah. Aside from that, I'm ready to just get onto the things I loved.
Oh,
I
I kind of thought that we already were talking about things we loved.
Oh no, I want to talk about things we didn't like first, so we could end on a good note.
Oh, all right. I think I've been talking about things I loved this whole time.
I mean, we threw them in there.
I mean, well, because I think what I loved so much about it is, again, that it was like very much like the darker parts of like people's psyche.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, I don't know, covered up. You know, like it's realistic that a war veteran that sees his best friend die would lose it. You know what I mean? It's realistic that a 16-year-old girl would absolutely lose it when everyone around her is being killed. You know, like, I think the only person I don't think is realistic is Sharon, and I don't like her, so.
Right. So, yeah. I mean, and the whole time they're talking about, like, real-world issues. And I think that's why a lot of, like, it's very, you know, I don't know if time-sensitive is the right word, but it coming out when it did is a very, you know what I mean?
Poignant.
I don't know what that means.
I'm pretty sure that's what we want to say. It basically means it came at the right time.
Yeah, it came at the right time. It was interesting, too, because this was supposed to come out before WandaVision. This is supposed to come out, I think, like months ago. And so the timeline of how COVID messed everything up. Doctor Strange was supposed to be out already. Black Widow was supposed to be out a year ago. Falcon and the Winter Soldier was supposed to come before WandaVision. And Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings is supposed to be out already, too. So we've missed out on all these movies, and now it's kind of cool, obviously, because we're having them back to back to back to back. We get Loki in June. We have Black Widow coming out in May. Shang-Chi's coming out soon too, I think. So it sucks it got all pushed back because we have
lots
really
of content now, though.
Yeah. But you know, all that time we didn't have anything. Now it's like we get everything directly in a row. And when everything finally starts merging together again, it's just that much more satisfying to see it all go hand in hand. But,
yeah. I mean, but like, okay, so on to the things. I just thought of one thing that I really liked.
Yeah.
I mean, just Bucky's redemption. That's actually one of the key points of what I realized, because you were but you were unsatisfied in the end with like how his apology went.
I forgot to mention this, yeah.
No, because the way that I saw it was, it makes total sense. Like, it makes absolute sense, because you were like, well, I wish we'd gotten more. Like, he didn't even explain why. Like, he didn't say that it wasn't his fault. And like I said, like, an apology is never supposed to be about making yourself feel better. Like, it's always meant to be like, hey,
just closure.
Yeah, it's closure. It's, I'm giving you this information, and if you want more, you will ask it of me. Yeah. But I should not be giving you any explanation to try and defend myself.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you mentioned this, because I totally forgot about it. This was one thing at first I, again, was a little bit disappointed with, because from episode 1, we were like, this is going to end with Bucky apologizing
to everyone,
to Mr. Nakajima, and saying that he killed his son. And when we finally get that reveal, the whole scene lasted about 30 seconds, going, you know, face to face, and they're just saying, you know, he was killed, it was by me, I had no choice, and it was just really fast. And I think the quickness of it made me just kind of feel like that was it. That was like pretty much the one thing we knew Bucky was going to for sure do in this entire series. And it was
but
just
like,
the one
also,
done.
I mean, think about when you've had to say like an apology.
Yeah.
No, like a really, really like.
That's what I'm getting to.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I agree with you, because after thinking about it, it's like, well, we assume we know what the conversation went to be on. Like, it's not like we have no idea what they were talking about.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like that was not going to be a happy conversation. He wasn't going to be, oh, it's okay, I'm glad you told me. Like, there is no way that was. Like, I feel like, honestly, if we watched the whole thing play out, it might have even been more awkward. You know what I mean?
No. I think that was basically the whole thing. That's what I'm saying.
You think there's only just a couple lines left?
Well, just when you have had to make an apology, that's really embarrassing. Like, he basically befriended the father of a man he killed. That is not only terrifying to have to break that relationship, but ultimately, like, it's embarrassing. Like, you don't know what to do from there. Like, you want someone's forgiveness because you like them as a person. Right. So you just have to get it out, because otherwise you're not going to do it. So, like, in that moment when he's standing there, like, it was abrupt. Yeah. Like, it wasn't going to be that's like fair. An easy, like, I have something to tell you, and like having this long-winded, like, ease into it. It has to be like, I did this. This is why. And that's it. Yeah. Like, and when he kind of like sees him out of the door, you kind of get that impression that like he's not ready yet to hear the rest. And like maybe one day he will be, and now he knows where to go to for the rest. But I thought it was really respectable of like Bucky to leave instead of being like, no, but like it really wasn't my fault. Like, I was under a spell. Like, I wish I could have told you sooner. Like,
I agree. Yeah.
Like, it just...
and it was cool that... It was just... The fact he crossed everyone's names off, it just felt like for Bucky to be one of the bigger characters, I feel like he didn't really get closure as much.
Yeah.
But at the same time, again, with him going to meet, Sam's whole family in that end credit scene, it's like now he has an actual family.
Well, you can
and
see
so I
like
think
he feels more free.
Exactly.
Like he feels more like lighthearted after that kind of like ordeal.
I agree.
I mean, yeah, I would have loved to see maybe like a couple more scenes of just like doors opening. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but like
exactly.
it's not like we
That'd
knew
cool.
any of the people, so I guess ultimately it doesn't matter.
That's the thing. It's like how they did it is fine. If there was another episode, even just like doors closing in and out, you know what I mean? That would have been cool just to say it was all done. But I mean, we got the same end result. He crossed everyone off the list, and now he's got pretty much an entire family, which is awesome for him.
Yeah,
So,
it was really sweet to see like how like Sam's community like kind of brought him under their wing. They're like, this poor white man. He has one arm. He's very confused. He doesn't know what to do with his hair.
Yeah.
Like, let's help
grows it out.
him. We should feed him as well. He looks a little bit skinny.
I like the long hair better.
Oh yeah, I mean the long hair. It's a good look for him. But no, I mean, that was, again, like, that's definitely one of the things that I like the most, is to see how much Bucky grew.
Yeah, agreed.
And, like, also to see, like, they all just came into themselves in the right way. Like, Sam, like, seeing his confidence was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was awesome, because in the beginning, he's so unsure of himself. And, like, everyone else knows, like, you're the right man. You are the right man. You're a good person.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I love just the way all the characters are built up. I do wish they started calling Bucky actually the White Wolf, because we did at the very end, we get the name change of Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Again, it used to be Captain America, the Winter Soldier was the movie, but that's going to be either the new Captain America 4, which they just announced, or another series that they do, season 2 later on. But I just, with the Winter Soldier name,
it's not something he gave himself.
Yeah, and it's just bad because you think about all the killing we did, like especially you think of Mr. Nakajima's son and stuff like that. It's a really dark part of his past, and I think you can kind of say if he's adopted that and acknowledged all the bad things, but he's moving forward, sure. But with him, I don't understand why.
I thought he liked the name the White Wolf.
Yeah,
I think
it
that's
sounds
why
like a cool nickname.
Well,
so I just don't know why they haven't renamed him yet.
Well, not even just that, but like he says it in the first episode. He's like, it's the White Wolf. You know, like he's kind of like angsty about it.
Yeah, exactly. He,
so like,
tells him.
I don't know. I thought it would have been nice too, like if he actually
or even just Captain America and Bucky. I would have liked better than the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, no, exactly. I agree. But that's definitely one of my favorite things. Oh, I loved like the whole Isaiah Bradley scene at the end.
Oh yeah, no, that had me emotional, honestly.
Yeah, no, it was like you could kind of feel it coming. Like the moment he's like, I have to show you something. I told you, I was like, it's gonna be a thing of him and Captain America's, and like to see though like him like get choked up about it, because like he's such a hard man and he doesn't show emotions and he hates everything and everyone. And they acknowledged that right before that scene too. And just, I mean, you never know how much you need for the world to know that you did good. Like, that's how I see it, at least. Because, like, obviously he's bitter. He doesn't like the world. They did him wrong. And he didn't want any kind of, like, association, almost. But, like, then he saw it and he realized that, while not fixing everything at all, was something that he needed.
Yeah.
Like, he needed to be acknowledged in some way because he did a lot of good.
Yeah.
For a country that treated him like trash.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned it too, because since we didn't do episode 5, this is something I planned on mentioning. But when he goes over his story from the war, when he went to save his, what do you call them? The people in your garrison or whatever.
Oh, his unit.
His unit, yeah. So basically his unit got captured, and the generals were just like, oh, it's all good. He's like, what do you mean it's all good? He decided to go in and save everyone. And when he did this, he eventually got thrown in jail for it. And the craziest thing about this is this was a 1-to-1, exactly the same as what Captain America did in the first
with Bucky.
first Captain America movie, when he went to save Bucky and all those soldiers.
Basically almost the same timeline too.
Yeah.
Like it was the same war. You know what I mean? Like it was exactly what Captain America had done.
Yeah.
And to know, like, I mean, I guess we could never know because Captain America died before anything could come of it. He was like hailed as a hero. They made an entire museum about him. Like they did all this stuff, and with Isaiah, they took him away because they wanted
held hostage. He was
but not only that. The curious part about it to me was that it was different versions of the serum, but like no one was taking it well. Like everyone ended up having some kind of failure with it, and that's kind of why they were like, it's okay, the unit's trash, we need to get rid of them anyways.
Yeah.
And when they noticed that Isaiah didn't have any negative effects, they were like, oh, we should study him. And it's like, yeah, okay, in theory that makes total sense, but consent is entirely the whole point.
Oh yeah.
Of studying something. At least it should be in America, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was just such a disappointing situation, because totally, scientists, they're gonna be curious. But you don't do that to someone.
Right.
You don't hide letters that he was sending to his wife and then tell his wife that he died.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, I was so happy they gave him, like, it's not really called a redemption for him, you know what I mean? But the fact they gave him any type of closure, I thought was really strong, because I didn't really know what else they would do. Like, even when they first introduced his character, I knew he would play a part. I wasn't sure how big. I wasn't sure if we'd get flashbacks to him fighting Bucky over in Vietnam or something like that. That would have been cool, but this was really the best way to close that character out.
Yeah, but I wasn't sure how he was even going to take it when Sam showed it to him, because it could really go either way. It could be like, hey, this was super disrespectful. You don't deserve to. Well, you don't deserve to do this without my permission. Yeah. But like, to have him get emotional and choked up and I don't know, feel like very thankful to Sam for not giving up on him, because you could tell that that's the thing. Like, people will give up on someone after they can't make them happy. And like, Sam kept trying, and Sam showed him, he was like, I mean, even when he was saying he's still a black man, you know?
Yeah.
And Sam very clearly was like, yeah, but I'm still always gonna fight for what I believe in, whether like other people think it's right or not.
Yeah.
And he's just such a good role model for Isaiah, which is, you know, ironic because he's younger than him. But I just loved that whole scene. It was very touching. I really hope that Isaiah is able to kind of like be a little bit of a recurring person for Sam, at least.
Oh yeah.
Like,
well, I just wanted to say the actor's name is Carl Lumbly, and he killed it. He was so good. All his emotions, like him as a character, he was fantastic.
They were all great.
I would love to see him just pop up every once in a while, even just to say something
I mean,
like just mean or like funny to Sam. Like, I think that would be great.
What I think would be amazing, I mean, since obviously his son is supposed to be like a young Avenger,
well,
potentially, but like what I was gonna say is what I think would be cool is if, like, while his son is training, Sam's sister like takes Isaiah to like where they all live.
I thought she was gonna. I thought they were gonna bring him over. In some of the trailers, I kept thinking that some of the older gentlemen that were on the boat were Isaiah. It looks like they weren't, but I really was hoping they would. No, cross
I thought
over
it would be just
point.
Kind of fun because, like, I don't know, he's probably not all alone if his son's there. Not
it's
there.
His grandson, actually.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, if his grandson's not there. But, like, at the end of the day, I just think it would be kind of fun. Because I think that, like, you know, sometimes you just need some really nice people and some really good food, and you'll feel a little bit better. Absolutely.
But, yeah, like you mentioned, so Eli, his grandson, Eli Bradley is actually a young Avenger in some stories, so we're wondering, does the serum technically get passed down, hereditary?
Right. No, we have, like, yeah, it makes sense, because, like, your DNA is fundamentally changing. Yeah. But I guess it would be once removed. Like, since it's not, so it's a grandson.
We don't know specifics on it, but either way, he just looks like someone, even just his comments, he looks like someone who's going to be popping up again.
He's always, like, he's eavesdropping. He's always trying to find out what's really going on. Like, I'm interested to see, like, he's definitely going to come back.
Yeah. So I would love to have him back. And then Torres took the wings, and Joaquin Torres actually becomes the new Falcon in the comics. So that's a pretty, you know, in your face.
Well, I liked his character in the 5th episode. Like, I liked how he was. I don't know. Like, I can't remember much of what he did, but, like, he seemed to really be there for Sam. Yeah. And he just seemed like a genuine good guy. Yeah. Very much like a Sam 2.0.
Oh, yeah. No, he was just a total nerd. Like, he was just so excited to be helping out.
He was just geeked out about everything. He was excited. Yeah. He wanted to be around the superheroes. Then he was like, I get these wings? No way. And it's like, they're totally destroyed. Yeah.
This is what's so cool, though, is because it really looks like they're already setting up the Young Avengers. I have no clue when that'll be happening. Mm-hmm. But, you know, if either of those two were to be in it, we also have Kate Bishop, who is coming in the new Hawkeye series. The twins, whenever they pop back up again, if they do. Mm-hmm. And I can't even remember who else. But, yeah, they're always setting something up, so it's exciting.
No, I'm definitely interested to see if anything's gonna come of that. But, like, I'm too busy, like, focused on what's going to be happening currently, I guess. Yeah. What are some other things that you really liked from the episode?
The suit. The suit was amazing.
Oh, yeah. It was pretty cool.
At the end of episode 5, you knew they were going to give us a cliffhanger.
I like the mini drones.
Episode 5 was funny because I felt like it ended so many different times. You know what I mean? Like, I kept thinking, oh, this was it. This was it. This was it. And then at the end, we're like, we're getting the suit. He's going to open the box. And then it cuts to black. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
But
because obviously, like, Bucky goes and asks a favor from Wakanda, and he gets we're assuming new wings made for the Falcon, and not only was it new wings, but it was a whole suit to go along with it, and whole new drones, and like so many cool new technology things. And what I thought was really neat, everyone loves the vibranium shield that Captain America carries around because it's vibranium and it's the most expensive metal and it's so cool. And now he has wings made of it. Like, he can shield himself with his wings. He is basically a walking shield, and that is so sick.
It's true. Yeah.
Like, he has a lot going for him, even though he doesn't have the super serum. And I think that, in a way, we kind of needed that just for our sanity.
Throughout the whole episode, I kept telling her, like, we would get nervous anytime Sam was fighting him. Like, please protect him. Like, when he was fighting John Walker with Bucky, we're like, all right, Bucky, you got to take this one, man. We can't. Like, I don't want, like, Sam was just like, please protect him at all costs.
Oh, side note, because I just remembered, but in general, I would like to note that I find it highly unlikely that the Flag Smashers would have been able to beat up John Walker that easily. I know there was a great volume of them, but at the end of the day, they were not trained special fighters in any way. And for them to be able to like stand up to Bucky and John Walker and the Falcon, who are all trained for years in combat, seems unlikely. You know, strength doesn't do everything.
Yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but Super Soldier Serum's kind of it's one of those things that's kind of like cop-out-y because there's no quantification to it, so you can't have like a Captain America serum, Winter Soldier serum, John Walker serum. There's no real numbers to any of it, so it's just whatever they decide for the context.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yes, I agree that people who are considered refugees at the moment shouldn't have the same high-level military training that
like
Sam,
some
Bucky,
of the
and,
the flips that Carly was even doing. I'm like, okay, first of all, if she's supposed to be 16, there's no way. This isn't a fantasy novel, you know what I mean? But like, I just wanted to note that because that is something that I thought of.
Yeah, I agree.
But back to what we were saying.
Yeah, so going back to the shield, it's cool you mentioned that he is really a walking shield. I didn't even think about that with the wings. But I think it's cool just because it really adds a whole other layer to the choreography of what his character can do through like fight scenes and stuff, because like Captain America I still always thought was probably like the lamest on-screen character.
When Falcon was it in the 5th episode or the 6th where Falcon does like have a moment where he's down, and we both thought that when it was in the 6th, we both thought that when he stood up he was gonna say, I can do this all day.
He just says no. Carly's fighting him, she knocks him over, he says stand down. It's quiet for a second, it's dramatic, and he just goes no. Like, I thought he was going to say I could do this all day.
We wanted it so bad. Like, I can
it
see
been
why.
Cheesy, though,
I can see why he wouldn't. But also, I wanted it.
But yeah, there's just so much he can do with this shield, with all the tech he has. Because when you think about it, he's really a mix of Iron Man and Captain America at this point.
Oh, sure,
As far as like what his armor can do, because we don't know exactly what's vibranium. I'm going to assume the wings and probably like the chest piece.
I'm going to assume the drones too.
Drones probably. Yeah,
I mean, I don't think he had enough time to make those himself.
Yeah, no, they for sure.
I think that at least part of like the chest piece looked vibranium, but the rest was like cloth. Yeah. Which makes me nervous. Come on, let's do a whole vibranium thing. Come on, very Black Panther.
Yeah.
But he definitely needs it when he's fighting super anything. Like, everyone's gonna be super, and I don't want him to be thrown around and injured.
Yeah.
But it was cool when he like fell into the water even. I was like,
oh no,
oh shit. And then he just zooms out in a cool jetpack.
Yeah.
That works underwater.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
Yeah, literally everything he did. Like, this episode was honestly half like finishing the series. The other half was just a showcase of everything he can do now.
Totally. Like when he like boomerangs his shield and like hits like all the people. Shot it through
the helicopter, yeah.
No, when he like hits all the flag smashers.
Oh, yeah.
Like literally Bucky in the not flag smasher, Bucky and John Walker were totally failing with all the flag smashers, and he just lands, superhero landing, and then like hits everyone with his shield, and they all go down. It was great.
Yeah, no, I thought the look, everything, he just looked great. I really enjoyed that. I think the shot when he was carrying Carly back to where everything was, I thought that was really poetic.
It was very like almost like, I don't want to say biblical because I don't think they were directly referencing the Bible or anything like that, but it was so much like an angel coming down from the sky holding like a fallen soldier. You know what I mean? And at the end, like, you do realize she was literally 16. She was a child. There's a reason no one wanted to kill her. She is redeemable. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, but that scene was stunning. Like, it was stunning. It was beautifully shot. This whole series.
Oh, yeah. No, and I thought through the action scenes where they were actually at the GRC headquarters, the colors and the lighting were just so cool.
It was so
like,
cinematic.
Felt so intense.
Like, they did whoever was filming this, whoever was like the creative director for that kind of stuff, they did an amazing job, like with the lighting, with the shots themselves, with the angles, and then with the music. Like it was all very cinematic.
Yeah.
Very aesthetic. I appreciated it 1,000%.
Yeah, definitely. And then aside from that, obviously his speech, it was great. Like it was cool because it really felt like probably my favorite part of the whole episode.
Oh yeah.
It was intense. He said all the right things.
Yeah.
I think like as an actor, Anthony Mackie delivered it really well. Like,
it was
obviously,
a great
the
monologue.
character Sam did a good job, but like for Anthony to be able to portray that so well, I thought was really good.
We've mentioned this. Every single actor was amazing.
Yeah,
like they're always very well casted.
Even John Walker, the John Walker actor was fantastic.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. They're all so, like, because they make you believe in their characters. Like they're very. I mean, obviously, I think that what we're kind of forgetting is that these are A-list actors that are in movies, like in $1 million movies, and you don't normally get to see that in TV shows.
Yeah.
So like maybe that's why it stands out more.
Yeah.
But like they were all fantastic, like absolutely fantastic, and that whole speech, it was so well done because like he does mention, he's like, yeah, you're right, I don't know what I'm talking about. But like we're all on the same page. Like we've all been through the same experience. This is the first time that we've all been through something hard. Like I thought it was like a really good moment because he's like, you finally understand what it's like to make a hard decision. Like things aren't going to be easy. It's not going to be straightforward. And if you're in a room with people who think exactly like you, who aren't going to be affected by your decisions, how are you ever going to make decisions for the people that you're trying to decide for?
Yeah.
And like it's fair, like I think there's two sides, obviously. Like when he was saying like you literally run all the banks, you could just do these things, and like literally, yeah, you could just do these things.
Yeah.
Realistically,
It's not,
you probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
But,
And that's the thing. It's like, don't get me wrong. It's not like he's living in a fantasy world. Where
Oh,
he can
no,
just
and he knows that
everything.
too, but that's what
he's like,
he's-
there's definitely a happy medium where you
Yeah.
can definitely be helping out everybody. And a lot of the times you feel like that's not the case. You feel like one side's holding back in favor of another. And that's what
Yeah.
he's just trying to say is like, we all have the same goal. Let's really just try and figure it out and work on a solution that helps everyone.
well, and even him saying like I believe in America. Like I still believe in the U.S. government even after all the times they've let us down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like because he still has hope.
Yeah.
Which I thought was like a really like stunning moment. Because yeah, people can lose hope really easily. Like I mean, I'm not surprised. Like it's something that's outside of our reach. But even like his whole moment where they're like, oh, the terrorists, and he's like, no, stop using these words to like make them seem like other. They aren't terrorists. This was a 16-year-old girl who died because she believed that you guys were going to make the wrong decision. And like they still were. Like that's such, it was an intense moment, and I think it was a great moment for his character.
Yeah.
Oh, the part where he's first walking up when the interviewer mentioned, when did the government make you Captain America? I mean, yeah, that I think I can leave at that, because obviously the whole issue was that the government shouldn't be able to say who is a superhero, who isn't a superhero. It was very clear that that was the whole problem this entire time. So it was kind of funny that a reporter would ask that. I guess not really. Reporters always ask the dumbest questions.
It's true. I think that might be it.
Yeah? I mean, I think that's all I kind of wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, besides just once again touching on how adorable Bucky is with his new family.
He's the cool uncle.
He's literally, yeah, the cool uncle. Like, all the kids want to fight with him and play with him.
Hang on his arm.
He definitely is flirting with Sam's sister.
Yeah.
Like, 1,000%. I love that for them. But I don't know if there's much else.
Yeah. Oh, last thing, Val. The girl with the really long last name who went up to John Walker after his court hearing. So I'm gonna pull up her real name just so we can be correct.
It's just Val.
No, it's a really long name.
Well, yeah, but I mean, do we have to say the whole name?
Yeah. Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. Oh, sorry, Contessa Valentina Allegra de la Fontaine.
Oh, a Contessa.
Yeah. So what's interesting is she's actually in the comics known as Madam Hydra. I don't think that's what she's doing here.
Who knows, though?
But apparently, it's been rumored that she's going to be recruiting people kind of like how Nick Fury did. And so what everyone's rumoring is that she's going to be setting up the Thunderbolts team, which acts as kind of like a vigilante. Think Suicide Squad, but like Marvel.
Yeah.
And she recruits these people to do, a Black Ops kind of mission or something that's like under the radar. And the reason they're called Thunderbolts, I'm pretty sure, is because of Thunderbolt Ross, who was he was the one who in Civil War is very anti-Avengers. He's the one who came up with the Soviet Accords and delivered that to them. But what people forget is that he was actually the Red Hulk in the original Hulk movie. Even though that wasn't Marvel at the time, I think that was Fox or Universal or whatever.
Yeah, like it's mildly recognized, but it's not really part of the story.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because like he was the only one who got brought over from that series because even Bruce Banner got changed.
No, yeah, Bruce Banner's completely different.
So Thunderbolt Ross has been the Red Hulk this entire time, and we haven't heard anything about it. We're like, did they forget about it?
But we don't really know if he's.
Yeah, we don't. We actually, so we don't know if he is or not, but
Yeah.
it would make sense. And now with Zemo being on the raft, Abomination is on the raft.
Oh, I mean, we should mention the whole like Zemo's butler.
Oh yeah, well I was gonna get to that
Yeah.
too. So the rest of the Flag Smashers, when being transported to jail, they were supposed to go to the raft, and their car gets blown up. And we zoom out, and you had to point it out to me. I didn't realize that first.
I didn't even realize it was actually him, but I
Yeah.
saw like the white gloves. I was like, how did Bruce Wayne's butler get out here? Just like joking, and then like a second later, I'm like, oh my god, no wait, it really is the butler.
Yeah, so Zemo's butler allegedly blew up the car. But what was weird about that, because then it goes to Zemo and he's just sitting in jail.
Well,
He's like, "All right, cool."
he hears the news, basically from his jail cell, and he was like, he did it. You know what I mean? Like, you can tell that somehow he was communicating with his butler to be able to get that across to him.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because his whole thing was being against super serum,
Right.
But I still think that eventually, didn't you say that he should be part of the Thunderbolts?
Well, yeah, so he usually is, but what's interesting is after that scene, it goes right up to Val, and she was with John Walker and his wife, and this is when they revealed the U.S. agent. But before that, when she's talking to his wife, she's saying how, she's like, John, you have to read the news. She's like, looks like our friend Zemo got the last laugh, and that all the Flag Smashers got killed. And she said something, I'm going to butcher this quote because I don't remember exactly what it says, but she tells the wife, she's like, I couldn't have made a better plan if I tried. It's almost like I did make it. And she's like, oh, but I didn't. Or did I? No, just kidding, I didn't. And that made me think, I'm like, maybe she's already working with him. You know what I mean? And maybe it was like one extra step to actually set it up already, and she is working with Zemo.
She did seem like she had some kind of government connections. I don't know if she's part of the government or something like that, but even when she said, when he comes out in his costume, not costume, but his outfit, and she's like, this is easier than having to do that whole pardoning thing. Like, it almost like she was saying that it was less paperwork, you know what I mean? So obviously that means that somehow she's getting the approval from the government to be able to use him.
Yeah, and this is why it feels like Suicide Squad-y, because you think, oh, if Zemo gets broken out of prison again, this is to reduce his sentence kind of deal. But what we can, probably assume, if they are going to be making the Thunderbolts team, it would be Zemo, John Walker, potentially Abomination, if he's even in canon right now.
Sick.
Yeah, I wish it would be Deadpool.
Yeah.
That'd be more X-Force, though. Thunderbolt Ross, and then what's weird is that Val was actually supposed to pop up in Black Widow. So depending on that, how that series ends up.
She seems like she would be somehow in Black Widow.
We thought maybe she was like recruiting for Leviathan, which after watching Agent Carter, we found out is like the Russian version of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra.
It's even interesting to kind of think about if you've seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I know it's still not like actually canon within the series, even though a lot of the technology seems to be getting used. There is a Madam Hydra at one point.
Yeah, no, but she was in the, what's it called?
Well, yeah. No spoilers.
Oh, sorry.
No, there is a Madam Hydra. I can definitely see them getting kind of rid of her, but she's been mentioned before. You know what I mean? So, like, it's just interesting to kind of, I don't know. We'll see, I guess, what happens with her character. But I like her overall. I mean, she seems sketchy as hell.
She just seems really funny. Like, for her to be a leader, like, even with Nick Fury is pretty ridiculous as a leader. You know what I mean?
He is ridiculous. That's the whole point. Like,
so, but yeah, I think they actually have a love interest in the comics. I think that's the thing between them.
Oh, maybe she'll be a big part of, like, the Skrulls and stuff like that.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, I just think they would be a great couple. But she's hilarious. I mean, I thought she was going to be trouble. Like, when he walked out of his...
like trouble.
I mean, definitely. But I thought she was going to be really bad trouble.
Yeah.
Like, I thought she definitely was going to be Madam Hydra. You know what I mean? But, because when he comes out of his moment in the law, when he's getting his sentencing, and she's like, this is my name, this is my card, because I don't want you to get my name wrong. Let me know if you need a job, kind of like situation. Yeah. And I was like, oh god, like she's gonna be bad. Yeah. But then seeing him have his redemption arc, if he hadn't, she would be bad. But he had a redemption arc. He's excited.
So you think it has to be something productive?
Yeah, because I don't think he would go dark again.
Right.
If that makes sense. Like, I think that he still very much cares for his, like, wife and, like, even, like, his friends, like, family. And he doesn't want to besmirch their names.
Yeah. But yeah, she's interesting. I think Thunderbolts would be really cool.
I just remembered that whole scene where she is introducing herself and the wife is like right there and she's like,
oh yeah, I know, it was super funny.
That was great. That was just very much like a hi, I'm the wife.
Yeah.
And Valentina being like, oh yes, and this badass lady over here, and I'm like,
Yeah.
nice. We love girls loving girls.
Right. But yeah, overall I really enjoyed this series. Again, they keep doing so well. Like, I can't believe we just keep getting all this content.
I mean, I guess I'm not surprised because I've personally never been disappointed by a Marvel movie, even when I didn't love it. Even when I didn't love it, I was never disappointed.
I still can't finish The Dark World. I can't do it.
I love that one.
Can't do it.
I love Thor, though, like, in general.
I think that might be the only one I really don't like.
I didn't like Iron Man 3.
Yeah, I actually only watched it for the first time with you.
Oh, really? Yeah, no, I didn't like Iron Man 3. That was definitely... I don't think of the Hulk as part of the series, if I'm going to be honest, because that's definitely...
We should do a whole one on
the Hulk?
Top movies and then worst movies.
We should. Yeah, let us know if you want to see that. If, like, our rankings of the movies.
Yeah.
But, I mean, obviously, we have a ton of content coming. What I did want to mention, and we're kind of done?
Yeah, no, I got nothing else to say.
It depends on how he feels about it, because we're going to watch the first episode together tonight of Shadow and Bone, or maybe not tonight. I don't know. It's pretty late.
Well.
But we're going to watch that together, and then let us know if you would want to see us kind of talking about those, since Shadow and Bone is, you know, a book series that I have read and adored since it came out. And
I have not read and adored it. But
yeah,
I watch a lot
it
of
would
movies.
actually kind of be really interesting to see it from those perspectives of,
Yeah.
like, someone who obviously knows the books. I have heard it's gone very different than the books, which those are always my favorite kinds of TV shows.
Yeah.
Vampire Diaries being the prime example for me. But yeah, so if you want to see something like that, if you'd be interested, let us know. If you would hate it, I don't think you would, because I've seen a lot of requests for that, actually. But if you would, let us know about that too. But yeah, so we do have, like, a lot of potential content coming, just because, you know, Loki's coming out, the new Black Widow movie's coming out, which I'm pretty hyped about.
Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings?
Isn't that going to be a cartoon?
No. That's Marvel What If.
Oh, okay. Then I'm excited about the other one. Maybe not so excited about the cartoon. But if you want, we can also potentially add in Shadow and Bone in the meantime, since we have some wiggle room, I guess. And that can easily be like a marathon thing.
Yeah.
Since it's Netflix, which I think was very dumb of them. They should have just, you know, done it the way that Disney releases things. Keep up the hype.
I know that you're saying that now, but it sucks having to wait every single week. Like, it's awesome because...
But that's how things used to be, and it was so exciting, and people were always on the same page. You know, like, fan theories don't get made when you can literally watch the whole thing in one night.
That's true. It's like you stop, just like talk about it, and like, all right, episode 2.
Yeah, like, you just get to watch, like... Okay, think of how much more memorable, like, WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier have been, because we get to discuss it and like think about our potential theories and how we felt about each episode. Like, when you watch,
really get to reflect on it.
Yeah, well, like, even like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we watched the whole thing, and yeah, we reflected a few times, but like, it wasn't that memorable.
You kept going without me.
Okay, whatever. That's besides the point. But what I'm saying is, you watch something in like a night or a week.
It's a lot different.
It's so much different. It's not as much fun. It's not like I don't know.
It doesn't get the full effect.
It's not an experience.
Yeah. Is
it satisfying though? Yes. But then you have to wait a whole year, and then you kind of forget about it, and then you just marathon it again, I guess. But that's gonna be it, because at this point I'm just talking.
Well, yeah, we're done. Probably Shadow and Bone next, and then I don't know, a lot of stuff coming out. So.
Did you just summarize what I rambled on about for like 5 minutes?
Please stand by.
Please stand by. You're fake for that.
I wrapped up a minute ago.
When you say a minute, you mean like a minute.
Yeah, minutes. Like, before we started naming off everything, I was done. Now we're done.
You know, you could just say I'm talkative without just, you know...
No, I just said
beating
it all
around
out.
the bush.
I said it all out.